there, and welcome to your Wednesday One show live on BBC One and iPlayer with claraamfo
and Alexjones, and we are rustling up some Christmas treats just for you tonight because Jamie-Oliver and the stars of a new period drama that is guaranteed to have you hooked over the festive period are here. Plus, Matt is with us for Watchdog and a company that's been less than sensitive with grieving customers.
Yes, we have the shocking story of bereaved families who've been badly let down by British Gas. More on that in just a moment. And with Christmas gift buying well underway, we're looking at the fragrance shop and hearing how some customers have been having issues with their online orders.
Oh, it's not what you want at this time of year, is it? Also tonight, as we said, we have a spectacular drama series that you will want to sink your teeth into, all about the man who composed this. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, of course.
Oh yes, Will Sharpe and Paul Bettany, who you'll definitely know from The White Lotus and A Beautiful Mind, will be here to tell us about this gripping tale of rivalry, jealousy and the price of genius. So dramatic.
Plus, over the past 25 years, he's become the UK's best-selling non-fiction author of all time. And now Jamie-Oliver is rewriting the rulebook once again. He'll be sharing the personal reasons behind his new healthy eating endeavour and some Christmas tips as well.
And we'll be adding our own touch of seasoning with a lovely film from chef Romy Gill. She heads to the Ayrshire coast to meet the couple reviving an age-old Scottish tradition of producing sea salt.
And we do love hearing from you. If you've got a question for any of our guests or a comment on anything in tonight's show, do get in touch on WhatsApp 0330 123 1700 on socials or email.
Lots coming up, but first, Matt's been looking at a problem hitting people at the hardest time of their lives.
Yes, when we lose someone close to us, we all hope that the companies we deal with will show care and compassion. But we've heard from some families who say that hasn't been their experience with British Gas. Losing a family member is often the hardest thing any of us will go through.
You have to manage your own grief, and there's often a mountain of administration to get through as well. That's why, in that moment, the last thing you need is a company that's not making things as easy as they can do for you.
British Gas claims to handle bereavement cases quickly and with great care. That's something Debs from Suffolk was relying on after her ex-husband, Stephen, passed away in December last year.
So when I spoke to the bereavement team, they said all the right things and, so sent her a picture of the meter.
Stephen's gas meter was in credit and Debs suspected his electricity was as well. British Gas told her to expect at least £490 by cheque in 14 days. The money was supposed to go to their daughter, Mel. But after 5 months of waiting, the cheque that arrived was nowhere near that amount.
They sent me a cheque for £14.15. Where they got that figure from, I just do not know.
So Debs complained.
Then they sent me a cheque for £20 as a goodwill gesture. I nearly hit the roof. I just want the full amount.
11 months after Debs initially asked, she finally received a cheque for £1,230 to cover the remaining credit on Stephen's account.
The service has been appalling.
Michelle from Bishop Stortford experienced her own battle with British Gas after her dad Tim died in October last year. Tell me a little bit about your dad.
My mum and dad divorced when I was 5 and unfortunately I had nothing to do with him.
Until 17 years ago, when they reconciled.
From that moment, we spoke every day, I saw him every weekend. He was a great granddad.
When you lose somebody, it's never easy.
It's soul-destroying.
Michelle instructed solicitors to close all her dad's utilities when they sold his house in May this year, including British Gas.
I gave meter readings, settled the bills, British Gas confirmed, job was done.
But 2 months later, British Gas sent energy bills to the estate of her dad, covering a period after the house had been sold. She complained, and British Gas assured her again the account had been closed. But the bills continued for £86 in October and £327 a month later. All the other organisations, companies that you dealt with, you didn't experience anything like this?
Not one thing. British Gas are the only ones.
British Gas is also signed up to Energy UK's Vulnerability Commitment. That's a voluntary set of principles aimed at supporting anyone in vulnerable circumstances, which includes anybody experiencing bereavement.
But this year, we've received 5 times more complaints from bereaved viewers about British Gas than any other company. Many of them about the company writing to deceased customers after being notified of their death, including Graham from Colchester, whose mum died in July.
I phoned British Gas and told them about the death. I must have had 10 to 15 emails that have got my mum's name on it. Someone who's no longer here. There is no way I would go anywhere near anything from British Gas ever again.
Then there's Linda from Durham. British Gas sent her multiple bills in her deceased dad's name months after she notified the company of his passing. She complained to the Energy Ombudsman, which described the situation as deeply upsetting. We've put all these cases to British Gas, which said its processes are continually reviewed to ensure bereavement cases are handled sensitively and correctly. It admitted that occasionally things go wrong and told us it apologised to the cases we featured.
British Gas. Grieving families don't ask for much, just dignity and respect at a difficult time. You have to settle their accounts for good with no comebacks, otherwise it starts to feel a bit personal. You're a company that claims to care, so start showing it.
Gosh, it's so upsetting, isn't it, for those families, you know, at a time when they really don't need that.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, we know that they can do better, and we are doing our bit to try and make them do that. That's why we do this. I'm pleased to say Michelle has received £163 as a goodwill payment from British Gas. If you've got a problem and you want Watchdog to investigate, email us, watchdog@bbc.co.uk, or tag us at BBC Watchdog. Now, it is the time of year when many of us are thinking about Christmas presents. Perfume is one of those extra special, often pricey gifts that many love to give. Well, we've been hearing from viewers who say their experience of buying online with high street favourite The Fragrance Shop was far from a treat. The company calls itself the UK's largest independent fragrance retailer and says it aims to make luxury fragrance affordable and accessible. Clara, tell us all about Helen from my hometown.
OK, so Helen from your hometown of Reading says she pre-ordered a Fragrance Shop advent calendar back in August. As you can see here on the website, that cost Helen £150 and it was a gift for her mum to get ahead of Christmas. Very organised, Helen, unlike the Fragrance Shop, who by October still hadn't managed to deliver it. So Helen chased them for an update, but instead of answers, her case kept being marked as solved. And meanwhile, the same calendar popped up online as available for next day delivery.
OK, well, listen, customers can pay a membership fee of £15 a year for discounts. That also entitles you to free 48-hour express delivery. But some who signed up to that told us their orders didn't arrive for weeks. Indeed, some of them at all. Daniela, for instance, Al.
Yes, indeed. Daniela from Bristol spent £385 on gift sets for family in September using her membership discount, which, as you mentioned, Matt, should entitle her to free 48-hour express delivery. Now, not only did the parcel arrive late, one perfume set was missing. For weeks, she received vague responses with no update, and 2 months on, she still hasn't received it, even though, again, the missing item was shown online as in stock for next day delivery.
We're not going to stop there. Clara, tell us about Tony.
So there's Tony from Birmingham. He ordered 3 gifts in September, renewing his membership for that 48-hour express delivery. But when the parcel arrived, the 2 gifts intended for his wife were missing. Every time he chased, he got the same message that it was awaiting feedback from the warehouse. By October, over a month later, he asked for a £142 refund and still nothing. So, what is the update?
Well, after we contacted the Fragrance Shop, it told us the root issue was a failed warehouse management system introduced between late August and the end of September. During that 5-week period, customers could have been affected by part shipments, tracking failures and delays. But it says it's now switched back to its original warehouse system and believes the issues are fully resolved.
And what about the customers that came to us then?
Well, since we got involved, all have now received full refunds. The company personally apologised to those affected and offered free membership and gift cards, acknowledging that its customers had been let down.
Yeah, you know, when you're buying Christmas presents, you just want it to be as straightforward as possible.
You absolutely
don't you?
do. Yeah,
Well, we are glad it's sorted.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we're talking about online shopping, and before we finish, a warning for anyone that's doing their Christmas shopping using clicks rather than bricks. Last week, new figures from National Trading Standards revealed that over 6 million people have lost money to fake ads, and nearly 100 million items were bought because of glowing reviews that then turned out to be fake. Scammers, well, quite frankly, it's Christmas for them. They step up their game at this time of year, using bots and AI to create convincing reviews, and even websites like the one you're seeing here for shops that simply don't exist. So, a reminder, do be suspicious of over-the-top 5-star reviews. Use trusted online review checkers to see if those ratings are genuine, and pay securely using a credit card if you can for anything over £100, because then you get Santa's special Section 75 protection bonus.
There we go. Matt, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Still to come, Jamie Oliver will be telling us how we can all eat well this Christmas.
And joining Jamie on the sofa are Will Sharpe and Paul Bettany, who are bringing us a fantastic drama, a brand new adaptation of Amadeus.
So it tells the story of renowned classical composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and his rivalry with Vienna's court composer Antonio Salieri. Now, before we meet Will, Paul and Jamie, let's take a look, shall we?
You killed my husband. I need to know how.
For that, we need to go back further.
Hello. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Oh, yuck. Who wrote this?
This repulsive creature played so exquisitely.
Please welcome Jamie Oliver, Paul Bettany and Will Sharpe. We are definitely live on TV. Now, this is a brilliant reimagining of the play Amadeus that many people will know from the Oscar-winning film from 1984. So it sees Paul's character, Salieri, a successful composer for the Emperor, attempt to destroy the young, exceptionally talented Mozart, played by Will here. So, Will, tell us where we find him at the start of the series.
At the start of the series, Mozart is arriving in Vienna. He's kind of young and innocent of all the problems that lie ahead for him, and he sort of wants to write for the National Opera. He thinks he's, you know... Oh,
yeah.
He thinks, like that piece, for example. And he basically, he's excited. He thinks he's, you know, the bee's knees, and he's very overconfident. And then we meet each other. Our characters meet each other in the first episode.
And then Salieri, who you play, Paul, is incredibly jealous of this young, upcoming, talented man. And he sort of plots against him, doesn't he?
Yes, I think he feels that God has abandoned him and chosen a different human to be his voice, and it quite literally drives him mad, I think.
Now, you know, these are based on real people. You know, we've got the art that lives with us to this day. But how much of what we're going to see in this series actually happened, and how much was, I guess, left to your poetic licence?
Well, I guess the story of Amadeus, like in Peter Shaffer's play, is famously sort of fictionalised. So these are versions of the characters and versions of the relationship between Mozart and Salieri. So anything that we found sort of in researching their real lives, I feel like it's quite liberating in a way. You could sort of take or leave it. If it was helpful or interesting, you could use it. And if it didn't sort of feed into what we were making as a show, then we could sort of leave it be.
Yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Dip in and out. Paul, your character has been played by lots of iconic actors, including Sir Ian McKellen, who won a Tony on Broadway, and then F. Murray Abraham. He won the Oscar for Best Actor. So was that a bit daunting, or is that a nice challenge to have?
No, they're hacks.
It
was daunting, but then I thought, you know, there are so many different performances of Iago or Hamlet or whatever that I thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
Did a great job.
Yeah,
Very much.
absolutely.
Now, many people, of course, have heard of Mozart. He's such an interesting standout figure in classical music. How did you start, using his music to help you get into character? Because this guy was making music from the age of 5 years old, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite unusual, I guess, to have that as a resource when you're preparing for a role, and I found it quite helpful to be able to listen to his music to get a sense of who he was, I suppose. And it's the breadth of it is kind of extraordinary. On one end you've got very playful, almost sort of silly tunes, and then at the other end you've got these huge, grand, very dark, serious pieces, and sort of listening to that and meditating on him and trying to sort of marry all those different aspects into one person, I guess.
It's honestly a treat, Jamie. You love this over Christmas. And you see both characters conducting orchestras a lot, of course, throughout it. What was that like then, Paul? Was it good to have that control?
It was amazing. I got a lot of help. My son is at the Royal College of Music.
Okay.
He is doing his master's in composition.
Wow.
And so he helped me a lot, and doing it was quite a powerful feeling, actually. We had playback, but it was a real orchestra. And so at one point where I'm conducting, and they stopped the playback, and the orchestra continued as I was conducting. And then when I stopped, they stopped, and it's quite a powerful feeling.
Yeah, nice.
I can imagine that can be quite addictive for a composer. Now, Will, you're also playing the music yourself, including the piano, where it is quite literally on fire, or not? Bit of trickery, bit of both?
Well, there was one scene, where I set a piano on fire, and it was sort of partially actually on fire. So it was quite sort of scary, actually, but also weirdly exciting. And it was one of those scenes where you just sort of have to jump in. And I remember looking down at the keyboard afterwards, and I'd sort of destroyed this old keyboard. But luckily, we only had to do it once.
Yeah.
So.
And it looks very good. Looks very dramatic. Jamie, you've learned to play the piano here.
Yeah, well, I'm very badly, yes.
So by ear, or you reading
ear,
music?
And I do write, and then I go to talented people to turn it into beautiful compositions for documentaries and TV shows.
Hang on a
So
minute.
I did a really nice one for the last documentary, dyslexia documentary. Worked with a guy called Toby Tripp, who's really talented, and the most amazing string players. And you must have had, they're so talented, aren't they? The diligence that these players have. But yes, all from my nan's little old piano.
So you're composing?
Wow.
Yes, I mean, I would say from a very raw point of view, I will write these bits and pieces, go to someone like Toby that will arrange it beautifully and sprinkle magic on it, and then the talented players. But I think ultimately it's about trying to contribute to whatever, in my case it was a dyslexia documentary, trying to write something that felt like dyslexia. But you can do that with music, right? And it's very powerful, and I bet you had the best fun doing this.
I loved it.
It was fun,
It was great.
Can you play?
I could play sort of chords.
Because you were doing that, but it looked quite fluent.
Pop songs, but I had to learn to play the pieces that needed to play on camera. But then what I found was we'd practice for about 6 months, and then we'd shoot the scene, and that evening it was gone. I just forget it immediately.
Right.
Like an exam.
Yeah.
Well, you can watch Amadeus from the 21st of December on Sky and Now.
Still to come, Jamie is going to be sharing tips from his latest food mission and why he says it's time for us to rethink the 5-a-day rule.
But before we chat to him, we have got a film about an ingredient that all chefs love. Romy Gill has been to the west coast of Scotland to uncover the incredible return of an old sea salt making tradition.
As a chef, there's one ingredient I couldn't live without.
A little bit of salt, because with Indian food, seasoning is so important.
Very important.
Very important, and this is the base of my fish.
Here on the Ayrshire coast, the tradition of salt making died in the 19th century, but it has recently been revived and it's been given a sustainable twist. Gregory and Worley Marshall are a couple with a great passion for making sea salt.
Nice.
It's a nice colour, isn't it?
To make it, they've constructed an 8-metre-high salt tower. It's the only one of its kind in the world. This tower looks amazing, just like something from a grim fairy tale.
Yeah, it's a bit nuts, isn't it?
It is. So how exactly does this tower work?
We stack the tower full of blackthorn, so those really long thorns that you get, that means that you get a larger surface area on the branch, so more air can pass through and more evaporation can happen.
To produce the salt, seawater is pumped to the top of the tower. As it trickles down through the blackthorn, with the help of the wind, the water evaporates and the process is repeated until what's left is salty brine.
Look at that. It's like snowflakes.
You can see it's kind of shiny and glistening. At the moment, it would be really strong tasting. So next door, we kind of dry it off a wee bit before we pack it.
Gregory's taking me inside the tower to get a closer look.
This is absolutely fascinating.
I think being timber as well makes it maybe feel a bit more medieval.
Yes. I can taste the salt.
Yes, you can.
You know?
Yeah, just because from breathing it in, it's in the atmosphere. Because it's quite windy today as well, it's really blowing through.
So how did you decide on building this tower with a blackthorn?
My family's been involved in salt for several generations now. I wanted to start making salt in Scotland, and I came across these towers in Germany and Poland that used to make salt which were full of blackthorn. That process sadly stopped about 70 years ago.
Inspired by these towers, Gregory decided to build his own. Their salt is proving so popular, they're building a second tower next door to cope with demand.
We've tried to reduce the amount of concrete to make it a bit more environmentally friendly, and also it's going to be slightly higher as well than the last one, which therefore gives us more surface area and more challenge when building it.
Over the past years, sea salt production in the UK has exploded. Now there are 20 manufacturers and sales have doubled. Nick Sinclair, founder of the buttery company in Edinburgh, uses it to give his butter its distinctive flavour.
With blackthorn, the level of kind of minerality that they have, you know, gives an amazing kind of umami to the salt and so to the butter, and it has a really nice kind of soft, sweet finish to it. Sprinkle some in there, take a good handful.
This is my first time making butter.
Well, it'll be the best batch ever.
I hope so too.
All this talk of flavours is definitely making me feel peckish.
I'm making a simple deep-fried cod with little spices and herb and using the sea salt from here. And I'm also very intrigued to see how the taste of the sea salt is going to affect the deep-fried fish.
Wally's got some of the butter I churned earlier to try with some local bread that's also made with the salt.
It's added more sweetness.
I think that's probably the calcium that brings out the sweetness.
Also the fish. It completely has changed the texture of the fish.
Oh, that's so Moorish. That's delicious, Romy.
With the second tower nearly built, sea salt really is coming home to West Scotland.
Oh, lovely to see a local food tradition being brought back to life. And of course, you know, it's a no-brainer, Jamie, isn't it, about championing local producers.
We have so many traditions in Britain. It's so rich. And of course, keeping them alive is one thing, but also bringing them back is a joy as well. So, yeah. Great, love it.
Definitely.
Jamie, let's talk about this new book of yours,
Okay.
Eat Yourself Healthy. So this began because of a personal wake-up call.
Yeah, well, I'm 50 years old. And, you know, I think when you're 50, you kind of look at life slightly differently. What does the next 20 years look like? But, yeah, I studied nutrition about 10 years ago, and I wanted to put everything that I'd learned and the inspiration around food into one place, where every choice was a good choice. What does that look like? And just the basics, like what is balance? Show me pictures. How can I go shopping differently and get it right more of the time instead of get it wrong a lot of the time? So there was some amazing... on my journey, I sort of went to most of the blue zones around the world where people live the longest for a couple of years, and I just wanted to kind of install it in the book. And then I think it's quite inspiring. There's a lot of bad news out there, but like at the age of 40, if you start making healthy choices, they think you can put up to 10 years on your life. And even at the age of 70, they're saying if you make healthier choices, you can put 6 years on your life. So I will take that.
Yeah, that's good
because I want to
news,
live and I want to have fun and I want to see my kids grow up.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
And the lovely thing about the book, there's a lot more than just recipes in there, because there's nutritional advice, there's like health hacks, lots of different stuff. And your take on, you know, the 5 a day that we're always told about is a little bit different, isn't it?
Well, I call it out as being a lie. Which it is.
You need much more, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing really good upsides of having the goodness from fruit and veg from 7 to 11, which always people will be watching this going, oh my God, how can I do that? But in the book, I show you what a portion is.
Yeah.
It can be fresh, it can be frozen, you can use dried
Tinned.
things, tinned, absolutely. So I really try and make it like accessible, doable. And if you flick through the book, you'll see the time to cook it is low, and you'll see in each recipe you can get 3, 4, 5 of your 5 fruit and veg a day, but we're not saying that anymore, we're saying 7 to 11. But basically, we want Britain to be healthier.
Yeah, and all the colours as well. That's the nice thing about the book.
Well,
you know?
colour is an amazing sort of sign. I mean, it's obvious, but the whole thing about Eat the Rainbow is true. And of course, the science around dark fruits, you know, beautiful dark greens and veg, the polyphenols, the antioxidants, the things that fight cancer and free radicals in your body. Like, we want all of that. So my job was to sort of translate that into layman's terms and really ultimately turn it into a delicious meal and prove that good food, healthy food, shouldn't be about what you can't have. It's about what you can have.
Yeah.
And really, any one of us can make... You know, when we go shopping, that spending the pound is the most powerful thing for, you know, how you treat your body, and also that goes through to who you're buying it off and how that affects the planet. So it is a kind of what the planet needs and what people need are generally more fruit, veg, nuts, seeds and beans.
Definitely.
More beans. So, yeah, I try and make it easy, and we did a nice series that's been and gone with it as well, which I love doing. So,
yeah,
but we got Christmas coming. So that will be about indulgence, but maybe I can be an antidote to afterwards. Yeah, yeah.
We're going to get to Christmas in a sec, but just before we get there, at the beginning of the book, you see that there's a lovely dedication in there to the late Michael Mosley, who, of course, was a big friend of this show.
I actually met him on this show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And his wife, beautiful man, amazing public servant, did incredible things, and of course, when he passed away, that was a shock to everyone. So I just felt it was appropriate to salute a good man and his great work, and just felt, you know, it's nice to carve him into my little bit of history in the book, and hopefully people appreciate
That's really nice, yeah.
Absolutely. You're also entering the world of podcasting for the first time, so you've got Reset Your Health. This is where you talk about a whole range of food topics with experts. So at this point in the recording, what is the most interesting thing?
Well, first of all, I'm late to the party. This is my first podcast. I'm about 10 years too late.
Better late than never.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was kind of casing it. Like, it's been really nice. With Jamie Oliver, I'm normally cut quite hard and rushed. A lot of my geeky sort of other part of my real self gets put on the cutting room floor. So in the audio, not audio, but in the podcast, I kind of just let it flow. It's very relaxing. I speak to some of the world's best experts, and to answer your question, I think some of the science that's really exciting is around how your body becomes less inflammatory and metabolizes food better through laughing and joy and longer, more calmer lunches. And I'm like, yes, the French are getting a lot right. And it's not laws that make them have a long lunch, it's culture. So just kind of rekindling the idea of trying... British people rush lunch.
Oh, yeah.
And what science is saying is that's making you much more unhealthy. So
we like that.
These little bombs of information, and then how can we all make little changes every day, little healthy swaps.
Yeah.
That will help us to a happier, healthy you.
We've got 20 seconds. We have to do Christmas. Roast potatoes, are we in? Give us the hack, Jamie.
Maris Piper, peel, boil, salted boiling water, 14 minutes, drain, chuff it up until it's kind of a bit frosty on the outside. Choose your chosen fat, rosemary, garlic, get it, roast it until lightly golden, then squash it, more surface area, and then a spritz of vinegar.
That is the
thing. A spritz of vinegar,
10
good
seconds,
vinegar, in
5.
the oven, golden crisp, best roast potato ever. Mould and sea salt, happy days.
Squash the spritz.
Jamie's latest cookbook, Eat Yourself Healthfully, is available now, and you can catch Reset Your Health from the 8th of January on Audible.
Sadly, surprise, surprise, that's all we've got time for tonight, so thank you very much.
On roast potatoes. See you tomorrow with JB. Bye-bye.
Bye.